What I'm trying to say to you, they did the opposite of what God required of the human race. This is how you tell who they are. They're beginning to create an industrialized world. They began to use all deceitful measures through their rare ability because they was a product of these angels. They was good in craftsmanship. They was good in technology. And once we become fascinated through this technology and this craftsmanship, and they bring the price of money. They create a network, a trading network all across the world. This was to connect every man, every woman, every child in the world, every people, every nation. Place us all on the same exact network. Once we became on the same network, it doesn't matter where you are in this world. Your habitat it doesn't matter if you're in the east with the technology. Your habitat is also in the west. Once they create this long magnet of network and get people fascinated in seeing each other, then the seed will become the build, craft and sell, do this here. And once he continued to do this here, he would create a delusion that he is the power of everything. That this is the American dream. This is the dream that came from the Gentile. This is the dream that you could have if it came from the way of knowledge. But God sit back and look because we looking at a delusion. Everything that we have done, when we do subject our mind to become fascinated by all this crap and the works of our hand, that's a deceiver with a mindset to get even with God that created all these things. He's not there to enhance you, but working in the benefit of himself. He was just like the serpent God used in the parable in the context of the Bible, where he was the closest friend to Adam and Eve. But in the time where he couldn't get Adam to take of the fruit of knowledge of good and evil, he went unto him in a deceitful way and went got the weakest member of the family, caused her to eat first, and she took it and said, see, this don't hurt you. And he took it and she spoke to Adam, and Adam did take off that and eat. What this tells us? As he said to us, technology is the answer to everything. And once we take on his back or take this fruit, he's going to lead us to something else. Then he's going to lead us to something else. And as we take on, then he's going to go down into the earth and get nuclear weapons. He's going to get the demonic substance out of earth and create nuclear weapons. You use technology, create brain where it will use computer, where it'll mind of people. And when he do that, he's watching your every move, and as you stray farther and farther away from God, only thing he's done is trying to separate you from God, and he's only thinking about himself. He's thinking about dominion. He never had dominion. And it tells you at the end, when God selected Abraham, God gave Abraham dominion of Adam and Eve. Because it tells you in Revelation, he took dominion away. But he can only take dominion away when he throws down the daily sacrifice. The daily sacrifice was when God told Abraham in Genesis 15:9-10 to take me a heifer of 3 years old, a she goat of 3 years old, and a ram of 3 years old. This would where the daily sacrifice was come. This symbolized, the ram was symbolizing Jesus, the heifer was symbolized myself, which would be living by the Spirit of Moses, and the ram with the she goat was symbolized John the Baptist. We were all three of us supposed to be slain for the covenant law. Jesus was supposed to be slain for the covenant law, but we were supposed to be slain with him, the total of three, to connect all families of the earth together in the body of that same one exact sacrifice. which came from the seed part of Abraham, which was Isaac and only Isaac, who was 100% of the black race at the time. God made the promise to Abraham that Isaac, not Jacob, but Isaac would be the only man on this planet where God would make the covenant with. Other peoples would be heritage of that promise. But Isaac was going to be the seed part of that, the man that was 100% of the black race. What was this in itself? To the man who was not in the book of life? He didn't want to have nothing to do with Adam because he came by way of a demonic act acted out by the fallen angels. This is what happened. So he decided from that moment to take dominion away from this man by a way of force. This is why it was the Chaldees in Daniel chapter 4 that spied on the children of Israel when they served God, because these was peoples of the black race. But the part was, as he just couldn't take it away just like that. It tells us how he did it in the first books of the Bible in Genesis, when he told them about the serpent came to Adam and Eve, and he was the best friend to Adam and Eve, and he came and enticed her, and she ate of the fruit, and he ate of the fruit. God, in Genesis chapter 12, had placed a hedge around Abraham to protect him, to keep this demonic mindset from coming around him, that he would not take off the tree of knowledge of good and evil. So Abraham couldn't do this, the same as his father Adam had taken and eaten all of it by the hands of Eve. This is what I'm talking about. So when these nations continue to go in there after the duration of slaveship in Egypt was completed, the man that didn't make the sacrifice of the 430 years, he was sitting out on the outside creating and building him a mighty army of weapons, who was named the empire of the Greek army and the peoples of the north. Once they came out and became established, the Chaldees was yet up there in this land, mixed in with the Assyrians. The Assyrian was a mixed race nation, but it came out of Nimrod's race. It tells you that in Genesis chapter 10. Who came out of Ham, who was a black man? Even the southern Turkey was a black race after the flood. But all of these, if it tells you there in Isaiah that the Chaldees was not a peoples until the Assyrian gave this land to them. They was a wilderness people. They was a reject out of the Gentile. But what happened was, when God gave Abraham this land, and after the 430 years in Egypt, they were supposed to drive them out of this land and not let nobody stay there, even though the Assyrian placed them there. Spoken of in Exodus chapter 24. Well, they didn't drive them all out. He told them they would make you sin against me. They would go on your side, because they was teaching mythology, the same thing that they was teaching before the flood of Noah, which Cain himself taught his children to turn their way face from God. And this is what they've done. They were worshiping the angels who caused them, and the woman that Jephthah had married, had kept record of these such on this side of the flood. To prove they had this technology, in Genesis chapter 11, they found a plane in the earth as they came back and started to build a tower. God let us know the technology had started before the flood of Noah, because there was this plane they found, and they started to build a city, which would become